I mean, yes, we bite the heads off of bats, and yes, we worship Satan. But besides that, we're a good group of folks, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
News, reviews, interviews, and all things metal. From the Kensington Place Studios, it's According to Metal with Jason and Viv.
Ladies, gentlemen, children, midgets, metalheads of all ages, we're all encompassing, we're all welcoming, it's okay. Gather around the podcast machine, kids. It's time for another episode of the According to Metal podcast, where we talk news, reviews, interviews, and all things metal. Does this sound good? Testes, 1, 2, 3, new microphone, new digs, new setup here, audio-wise here on the According to Metal podcast, of course. I'm Jason in the northern command of the Kensington Place Studios, and a little further south into the southern command of the Kensington Place Studios, where Biv, of course, has already gotten the studios laid out. I mean, he's got a sex hammock. We've already had this conversation earlier, but now he has upgraded his mic to. I'm going to stop talking because I want you to hear the glory and the beauty that is Biv's voice with his new microphone. Biv, welcome to According to Metal, and take it away.
Well, thanks. So first of all, I'm so glad that you've brought the midgets into the show and made them feel welcome. That's awesome. So, you can dance if you want to, and, just let you know. But
that's fine. Well,
yeah.
it's. I think midgets being a fan of According to Metal is huge.
Oh, it is. Absolutely.
See what I did? Anyway, no, go ahead.
Yeah, that was bad. All right.
I know.
But yeah, so, funny story. As you guys know, my microphone did not sound as good as Jason's, and so, we do this as a labor of love. This is not something we make money on. In fact, we lose money on this. We have no income from this show whatsoever. There's no advertising. There's no anything. But we do this because we love metal. We get to talk to guests from around the world. We get to talk to you, the fans. It's phenomenal, and we love doing it. Well, I finally was able to upgrade my equipment to a very nice microphone. And I hope I sound so much better. Jane promises me that I do.
Dude, it sounds glorious in comparison. Night and day.
So, because I got a new microphone, Jason's microphone broke, wink, wink, because...
Oh, F off.
Because he felt like, well, Biv got a new one. I've got to upgrade too. So, all of a sudden, his microphone mysteriously broke on Tuesday night. Now here we are 2 nights later, and he's got a brand new microphone. So, Jason, I'll let you explain to the fans out there exactly what happened.
Well, it's a true story. I wanted a better mic. No, I actually had no desire to do it. I had Old Faithful, the microphone I've been using since day one. And as many of you may know, if you're veterans of the show, if you're new to the program, I have 17 children. Actually, not really. I have 4, but once you have more than 2 or 3, you kind of lose count. And all of a sudden, Tuesday, we're going to record an interview, and I have absolutely no power going into my USB port of my microphone. Nothing. Zero. Light doesn't come on. There's no power to it. I don't know what the hell's going on, other than the fact that I'm pissed off because I got nothing. So we had to reschedule the interview. I had to get a new microphone, and yes, I did get a little bit fancier one than Biv's, but his sounds really good. Hopefully I sound good as well. Give us your feedback. Hopefully you've enjoyed the upgraded sound of the According to Metal podcast. And speaking of feedback, we love to hear it. And one of the things we've talked about before, every couple of episodes when we're, aware enough to make sure that we discuss it or ask that you do it, and that's to leave a review of the program. Give us your thoughts, give us your opinions, and a lot of you do on Facebook and, send us messages, and we greatly appreciate that. But one of the places we really, really would like to get your reviews, because not only do we like to read them there, but realistically, look, there's a lot of metal podcasts, there's a lot of music podcasts. If I'm in trying to find out and I have an interest in metal and I want to check out some podcasts, let's face it, I'm going to go into iTunes and I'm going to read some reviews to see what people are saying about a particular show. And so we really encourage, if you subscribe to the podcast, if you listen to us, if you happen to get your show through iTunes and you subscribe and listen to it that way, or if you just simply have iTunes and that's how you get our podcast, whether you got it on a web link or however you got it, please do us a favor if you dig this show to go in to iTunes and actually leave us a review, because we'll actually read those reviews live on the show as we get them. So you can hear them. We'll give you a shout out. And speaking of that, we actually have 2 reviews I did want to read because I want to give them some thanks and some props for doing that. We had a review from Some Guy 33. And he said, I could listen to, I don't know what this means. I could listen to Jason read tampon reviews from Amazon for an hour and a half. He says, co-host is also a great contribution. I'll be sure to listen to this podcast to keep up with the specifics of the new Nickelback album. And trust you me, Biv especially has got his finger on the pulse of all news that is Nickelback.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and of course that was said tongue-in-cheek. He said, but I'm hopeful that I will get that information from you, even though you haven't promised it, but it seems like a totes legit metal show, so I'm sure you'll give us that feedback. And we certainly will. But Some Guy 33, thank you so much for the review. We greatly, greatly appreciate that. Also, another one from Lions Fan 1972. He said, I love metal for a long time, but haven't been able to hear much about it unless I bought one of the mags off the newsstands. I was so glad to find this show, and Jason and Biv are really great hosts, incredibly knowledgeable and great personalities as well. It's mainly just Biv's personality you'd actually find good, but anyway, they enjoy what they do when it comes through in the show. They hit all forms of metal and breathe new life into music podcasting. Holy shit. I am a fan and will be for a very long time. So glad I have found this show. So thank you, Some Guy 33 and Lions Fan 1972, for your reviews, for your feedback. And you can have your username, I know, your star, your 15 seconds of fame, on the According to Metal podcast simply by giving us your review. Whether it's 1 star, whether it's 5 stars, still put it out there, because it does not only help spread the word of the show. To Biv's point, we do it as a labor of love. But also, realistically, let's be honest, if you're going to be a guest on the According to Metal podcast, what are you going to do? You're probably going to Google the show. You're probably going to check out what you can find out about it. And if you go into iTunes and you see we got like 25 5-star reviews, then maybe you want to be on that show. Maybe if we suck and there's no reviews, then, well, you don't want to be on that show. So it also helps us as a show as well. So we greatly, greatly appreciate that. And, you know, speaking of guests on the show later on in the broadcast, we have Armin Alic from this little band we love called Almanac. Of course, Biv and I rated it the Power Metal Album of the Year in 2016, and rightfully so. Tsar is an absolutely killer album. And I'm not going to lie to you and tell you we're going to do the interview live. We record the interviews prior to, but stick around, because I'm telling you, one of the better interviews we've done as far as just the message at the end of it. It's one of the, we did this interview a week or so ago, and I still think about his answer. Stay tuned for that, because it's really, really good. Also, later on, you know, we do interviews, we do reviews. We got reviews for Firewind's new album. We also have Grave Digger has a new album out. And, of course, Gotthard, one of Biv and I's favorite hard rock bands. They have a new album out as well. So we'll talk about that. And, of course, we got Triple B, Biv's best band you never heard of. But, again, interviews, reviews, and news. Yeah, it's time to talk the latest metal headlines on our 1-ish anniversary podcast, special episode-ish of the According to Metal podcast. Biv, you ready to talk some news, man?
Let's do this thing.
All right.
It's time to give you some headlines. The metal news you need to know right now.
He looks up, down, left, right. He scours the Google machines, the Facebooks, the Twitters, trying to find the latest news in the world of metal. So, Biv, it's a new episode. What you got?
Well, as you know, we talked a little bit of Grim Reaper on the show 4 or 5 episodes ago, and Grim Reaper's been out on tour, doing what they love to do, just like we do what we love to do. It's a labor of love, probably not making much money, if any. Steve Grimmett, the original founding member, who's still with the band, the only original member of the band, while on tour in Texas, had to go to the hospital due to a very aggressive infection in his leg. And he lost a good part of his leg.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So he had to have it amputated. Very sad story. But have no fear. Grim Reaper is here. They're coming
well, that
back.
Doesn't sound good.
Don't worry. Don't worry, because Steve has promised this will not keep him down.
Well, that's good. So we don't fear the Reaper, or we don't fear Grim Reaper? I don't know.
Well,
I'm confused.
No, Grim Reaper doesn't fear shit because, yeah, he's coming back. Now, just like,
wow.
I'm thinking just like Axl Rose did, right, with AC/DC?
Yeah, just prop him up in the chair, man.
Yeah. So I think as soon as he gets this under control, which I don't know when that'll be, they'll be back on the road. So he is. Steve's my guy. I mean, I listened to Grim Reaper back in the early to mid '80s, and they were kind of a fringe band then, a UK, new wave of British heavy metal band back in the day. But I liked them, and I had a couple friends that were into them. But they're making a comeback. So, I'm glad to hear that, and I hope Steve follows up on it. I really do. And I wish him the best. But as always, the metal community has come together to support he and his wife, and raising funds and doing, fundraising events on the internet and whatnot. And the love and support and gifts and finances are pouring in to help them.
Wow, that's cool.
And I think it's such a cool story because this is exactly what the metal community is all about. Now, whether you're into death metal and I'm into progressive metal, or whatever the case may be, we all share one thing in common, and that's metal. So, kind of a sad story, but there is a silver lining.
No, it's really cool. And I mean, it's just, unfortunately, while we are giving people, and while we do have a heart, and we are, a brotherhood or sisterhood, if you want to combine the two, when it comes to metal, it's the common language you speak. I mean, yes, we bite the heads off of bats, and yes, we worship Satan. But besides that, we're a good group of folks, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. So, I wanted to get that out of the way. I wanted to get it right off the top, because I want to turn into something a little bit more cheery from here. And that is, you may have seen this, Jason, because word on the street is, rumor has it, you're an Iron Maiden fan. Is that true?
It is. Confirmed. Affirmative.
Okay.
Hell yes.
So, you may have seen that they're going on a second leg now of the North American tour, leg of the tour that for the Book of Souls. So here they are. They're coming back to the States. They're coming back with Ghost, which I know you're a Ghost fan.
Sorry, I just vomited. Yeah. Hold on, let me get a drink.
But hold on, I'm going to cheer you up. Here.
Hold on, that taste of Ghost is still in my. Hold on. All right, it's a little bit better. Go ahead.
Okay, but it's going to be a 4-act bill.
Okay.
So the other two are Camelot and Exodus.
Freaking nice. Now that's some redemption. Now I'm good with that. First of all, you have Camelot, which I've never seen before. You have Tommy Karavik. I probably shouldn't get seats too close.
No, you shouldn't.
Because if Tommy and I made eye contact, it may...
Dude, you'd make love to him right on the stage. You know you would.
Yes. Security! No, but that would absolutely happen. And
he'll never come on the show now.
No, he never will. Make sure let's edit that out of the actual end of the episode. But and you also have Exodus, which is part of it. And that's the cool thing is that Gary Holt's one of those riff writers who's now actually, though he's part of Slayer. He's Exodus has been one of those bands, and he writes riffs that some of the more underappreciated thrash riffs I've ever heard, and unfortunately, Exodus doesn't get nearly the recognition they deserve to get. And it's funny, you hear, all kidding aside with Ghost, who it's just going to be so bad. I mean, the way I'm going to look at it is Camelot's going to be on stage, and it's going to be awesome, and I really want to hear what they do live, because they're musically, I know Biv's a little bit bigger of a fan than Camelot than I am. But still, I definitely want to check them out. Exodus is great, and they're a legend, in my opinion, as far as, Bay Area thrash metal. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll buy like a $12 Lining Kugels and go take a dump when Ghost is on. And then I'll come back and hopefully hear some Maiden. And the only concern I have about this show is, this is part 2 of the Book of Souls tour. I mean, I kind of already saw... episode 1 of the Book of Souls tour here in North America. So I'm just curious as to how, I have some buddies of mine who want to go as well. And, the only concern they mention is, I hope we're not going to see the same show. And Maiden does a really good job of making sure that's usually not the case. And, changing it up a little bit. And, I'm going to go see him regardless because it's freaking Maiden and I'm going to go anyway and listen to it and be a fanboy and not give a shit. But it would be nice to hear him change it up from, what they did just like, 7-8 months ago when they did the last North American first leg of the Book of Souls tour.
Well, I have to believe. Now, I did look at the list of the cities they're going to be in, and many of these cities are duplicates of the previous leg, including Chicago, where you and I are both closest to.
Right.
So I have